Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our student athlete interview series. This series interviews various athletes at all sports and all levels. Today, our guest is Monet Davis, who is a rising junior middle infielder on the softball team at Hampton University. Welcome, Monet. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so we'll get right into it. You grew up playing baseball, and as many people know, you were in the Little League World Series as a girl. So, what made you start playing softball and taking that step from baseball to softball, and when did you do that?
Um, I'd say I probably started playing softball, I think 10th grade. Um, we were teammates, so you kind of saw, when I first got there. So I feel like you and a few other of our friends were trying to tell me to come out. I wasn't going to do a sport at all. So you guys are just like, come out, why not? Like, you should be pretty good, so you should have a lot of fun. So I just decided to do it, and then it just took off from there. We were winning, we were enjoying our time on the field. We became closer friends off the field as well. So I get all credit to you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, then I probably wouldn't be playing.
Awesome. Well, so being a young athlete, did you have any role models or favorite players while you were growing up, whether it was softball or whatever sport it was?
Yeah, I grew up watching a lot of basketball. So my favorite player was Maya Moore, who was on the Yukon Huskies at the time, and then she, got drafted into the WNBA. So I followed her then, and then Skylar Diggins is also my another one of my role models. I got to meet her a few times, and she's super nice. Always willing to, give you advice. So those are probably my two role models growing up.
Awesome, for sure. So, moving into softball, when did you know that playing in college was going to be an option for you and like you were like, okay, this is what I want to do? When did that point hit for you?
It was going into my senior year, so August of 2018. I was in a boot, and I was debating, for a very long time what I wanted to do in college. So I, just was like, I think I want to do softball. I'm having more fun with it, and I feel like it would give me a huge challenge in college. So I just told my baseball coach, and he helped me send out emails to different coaches all around the country, like no matter what division, what level, what conference. It was just sending out emails to see, who was interested, and we got a few responses back, and we just went from there.
Yeah. So, keep going on to that. What was your recruiting process like specifically to Hampton?
Um, I feel like to Hampton it was a little different. I mean, I sent the email, and the coach got back to me, and I was like, oh, that's nice. She kind of just expressed some interest. She told me to come to a camp just so she can see me play. She saw me pitch, but she didn't see me play softball, so she wanted to see how I was doing. Um, then I took a short tour around the campus with one of the players just to see what was going on. But I'm pretty sure it was a Sunday, so there was just no one out, so it was a little dead on the campus. So it was a little weird to get a feel for how it'd be on campus with no one out. And then I went home, thought about it. I like the team, I like the coaches. They're all super super nice, and just always seem like they love to laugh, and I love to laugh as well. Just love to have a good time. So I told her I wanted to see the campus again because I didn't get a great feel for it. There's no one on campus, so it was kind of weird just to drive around an empty college campus. So
Yeah.
I went back up for homecoming, I think like the next month or so, and then I got a feel for that, and I enjoyed it. Um, as soon as I got there, so many people that I had no idea who they are, just came up to me and was like, if you choose here, like you'll be a part of a family. Just talking to me, talking to my parents. Um, so that was a great feeling, just coming up, like, and just having people talk to that graduated years and years ago. But I took another tour around. I saw the dorms, and then the next day I got to meet with the dean of journalism, which was my major. So it was nice to meet her and see, read her track record and everything that she's done, see how she could help me in the future. And then I just after that weekend, I went home and I thought about it, and I, didn't talk to the coach for maybe like a month, which isn't good. You want to keep in contact. And I took another visit to Bethune-Cookman down in Florida, which is also a college that expressed interest. And I just couldn't see myself down there. They had my major, but it wasn't as important as it is at Hampton. Like Hampton has a whole building for it, so I told them like I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could see myself down in Florida. It was a little too far. So ultimately, I texted the Hampton coach, and I was just like, "Yeah, I think I'm just gonna come to Hampton. I think I want to be a private." And she was a little shocked because she's like, "I didn't hear from you for so long, but was excited to hear." So it was a little different process. I truly didn't like it. Both coaches at both schools are super amazing. The players were nice, but it all ultimately came down to what would give me the better future after college, and that was Hampton with the journalism school.
Awesome. So after having your first 2 years, what would you say the biggest change from high school to college was, both academically in the classroom and athletically, like in the weight room on the softball field?
The biggest change for me is definitely lifting weights. I never lifted weights in high school. That was my biggest challenge. So waking up early, going to weights, then going straight to class afterwards. Then after class, trying to find a little bit of time to eat a snack or something, and then go to practice. So that was just that day was just a lot for me. But as it started to get going, I started to get used to it, and there was a lot of time, in between, like in the classroom. So like we'd have a class from one day, and then we'd have a day off, and then go to the next day we go to the class. So having that much free time and managing time was probably I think the easiest for me. I feel like our high school did a phenomenal job of just helping us manage our time and when to get things done. But just lifting weights, getting up early for practice, that was probably the biggest transition for me.
For sure. So you talked about it a little bit, but what would you say helped you the most when you were trying to balance your academics and sports?
Just the high school that I went to. I feel like I kept telling people when I first got there, like I felt like high school was a little harder than college, just because high school, you had the same class, you had it the next day. So being able to, get all that done in such short notice at night in high school, it kind of helped transition to college. So I feel like I've just been prepared for it, well prepared. And once I got to college, it just made things a lot easier.
Good. So you had your sophomore year during a pandemic and the end of your freshman year. So what was it like having trying to do softball during this whole COVID pandemic?
It was tough. I feel like, everyone else kind of they got a chance to play, so I kind of felt like my team was being we are going to be a little behind just because we haven't faced live pitching in it'll be 2 years in February, so it'd be such a long time since we faced live pitching, but we just had to do what we could control. So I would go down and hit, work on my swing, take ground balls. Um, I just watch videos. I look at my previous year stats and see like what I did well and what I need to work on. So just working on that. I did get in the weight room some more on my own, which is nice. I know a lot of people were excited about that. But just trying to keep my skills up to par. So when it was time to go back to campus, it felt like it was just a short rest and coming right back, and that I didn't lose anything. So just trying to do what I could. I felt like the pandemic was kind of a blessing to me because I'm so used to doing so many sports year round, and then I had this break, so it kind of allowed my body to rest. I allowed myself to rest and not stress myself out. But I just did what I could control, so I was just practicing the whole time and just trying to get better and working on things that I wouldn't have time to work on at school, and just making sure that I'm ready for when the time comes.
For sure. So what would you say your greatest accomplishment has been as an athlete, whether it's in playing softball or one of your other sports? What was the biggest accomplishment?
Um, I mean, there's so many. I'd probably say I feel like it's the most obvious one would be throwing a shutout in front of so many people in the Little League World Series.
That was
Um, we were actually just I was just watching that game with a few friends, and just thinking back to Little League. Like there's just so many people watching, and yet we were playing as if there was just our parents watching, which is crazy, especially at such a young age. So I feel like that's probably my biggest accomplishment in sports, but also I feel like in softball was probably besides winning states in high school, I'd say beating Howard University in softball. A lot of HBCUs know like the Howard Hampton kind of HU rivalry. So beating them on a walk off was probably my favorite experience, and it just showed like how how we always fight as a team. We never give up, no matter what the score is. We're willing to fight, and we always have that confidence in ourselves that we're going to beat this team that's in front of us.
for sure. And then to wrap up, do you have any advice for student athletes that are in high school, maybe going through this recruiting process, want to get noticed by colleges? What would you say, like tips for them would be?
I would say to not rush it, to take your time. You want to choose, the right choice. So just taking your time, doing your research of the school, getting to know the coaches, even getting to know the players as well. Um, go at your own pace. Like you might see your friends recruiting around you, but don't rush it. Like that's at their pace, so do it at your pace and find the right fit for you because you're there for 4 years. And you want to choose it because of the school and not because of just the program, the baseball, softball, whatever program you're choosing it for. So making sure you get that right coach that fits, the one that's willing to help you grow, um, and everyone loves the family atmosphere. So try to find a family atmosphere as well, and one that you can talk to your teammates outside of the softball, not or outside of the sport, not just while you guys are on the field or on the court. So just really just finding the right fit and finding what's comfortable for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Nice short conversation.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye.